Hi guys, this is Vishal here from Rapcode. So in this video we will understand how to use an external CSS theme or an external HTML theme or library to build a project on Rapcode. So in Rapcode you have flexibility where you can bring the UI, the design of your choice, and then build your application on top of it, right? So in this example we are using a ready-made template or a ready-made theme, and then we'll try to build an application which has all the functionality plus the design of the theme, so that you don't spend a lot of time on designing, right? So Rapcode works on Bootstrap framework, so you can use Bootstrap 4 or Bootstrap 5, and then you can get an HTML or CSS or a ready-made HTML theme of Bootstrap 5 and then use in the project. So there are a lot of marketplaces where you can get Bootstrap themes. So you can just search Bootstrap theme. So let's say this is a theme on Themeforest, and then there are several other open source. So you can just go and look for free Bootstrap theme if you don't want to spend money. So you will get a lot of options. Okay, so all these designs are made in Bootstrap. So let's say if you want your application to look like this or like this, you just download the theme and then embed in the project. In this video we will understand how to basically download that theme and embed it. Okay, so we can, let's say, build this. So you can just go and download the theme. We can either, if it is a free one, we can download it, or we can pay and then purchase and then use in the project. So for this demo purpose, we are going to use Plain Admin, which is a free Bootstrap theme for building admin dashboard. So we'll be using this UI, this HTML, to build a web application on Rapcode with this particular layout. Okay, so let's go and see how this looks like. So this is a website, Plain Admin. You can preview it. Okay, so once you preview, you will see something like this. So it has a nice looking dashboard, some graph, some analytics data, left menu, expandable menu, and all those things. Okay, so let's say I want to build an application on Rapcode which has the UI like this. So how do we do it? So it's straightforward. Let's go and download this theme. So what I'll do, I'll just go and download this theme. So I'll just use the free one. Okay. So it has actually downloaded the theme, and the theme has a lot of HTML files, assets, and all these things. Okay. So what I'll do, I'll open this in my code editor. So I'm using VS Code. You can use whatever code editor you want, or you can just open it normal HTML like a text file. Okay, text file open. So I'll go to my Visual Studio, and then I'll just open this theme. So now all these pages are here. So you can see index.html. If you want to see how it looks like, we can see all these things. Okay. So this is fine. So now let's go and build a project, and then let's implement this theme inside the project. Okay. So I go to my dashboard. I'll say create a blank project. Okay. Since we are starting from scratch, so I'll just say a blank project. Let's say admin template or admin dashboard template. Okay, I create a project. So we want to add authentication. So I'll just add the default authentication settings. I don't need collections, all these things I'll do later. Okay, and I'll launch that. Okay, so this is a blank project. As of now, it has couple of pages, two collection, user node, which got installed as part of authentication plugin, and nothing else. Okay, so now let's build the UI from the theme. How do we do it? So as of now, it's just a blank project. So basically, we'll go to the folder. Now we want to upload the CSS and JavaScript libraries in the project. Okay, so here if you go in the assets, there is a folder for CSS. So we need all these CSS libraries, and there's a folder for JS. We need JavaScript libraries. Okay, fonts we'll see, images, we don't need all these images, we'll see. Okay, but it's up to you what exactly you want to use. You can upload all those things. Okay, so in the CSS, I can see it is Bootstrap CSS, which is by default, and this CSS is already available in Rapcode, so you don't need to upload it explicitly. Calendar, it's needed only when you want to use calendar layout. I don't want to use calendar. line icons for icons, main.css is the actual CSS file which gives you the design, and then material design main.css. So these are the two CSS files which are basically building the whole layout. So let's go and add these CSS in the project. Similarly, for JavaScript files, you will see JS files at Bootstrap bundle, which we already have. Chart we don't need, dynamic pie we don't need, full calendar we don't need, loading bar we'll see. Main.js is something which we definitely need. Polyfill we can ignore, moment we can ignore. So you can either ignore or you can upload what you want. Okay. So let's go back to the project and see how we can upload these files. So in the project, you go to the settings and then you see custom CSS and custom JavaScript. So let's go to custom CSS. So here either you can paste the CSS code, or you can basically add the CSS class, or you can add a CSS library. So as of now, we don't have feature you can upload the library or CSS directly in your project. That is something which is in the roadmap. It will come at one point of time. As of now, you have to give the URL. So to give the URL, we need to host that CSS file somewhere. So we can either use Dropbox, we can use S3, or we can use any static resources where we can host HTML and CSS files. So in this example, I am using Dropbox. Okay. So I have a Dropbox account with me. I've created a folder called admin template. Let me upload these files here. So I'll just go and upload the folder. Okay. So I'll just go and upload the CSS folder as it is. So it is bringing all the files. Okay. Then maybe I'll upload the JavaScript folder also. So if you see in the CSS, it has uploaded all the CSS files which are there in the theme, and in JS folder, it has uploaded all the JS files which are there in the theme. So we are going to use these files. Okay. So first, let's open the CSS. So as I said, Bootstrap we already have. So Drap code uses the Bootstrap. You don't need to upload Bootstrap again. Calendar we don't need, line icon we need. So I'll just say copy link. Okay. And the link is copied. I'll go back to my Drap code project and here paste the link. Okay. So you need to make sure if you are using through Dropbox, you need to remove this DL, and instead of www, you need to change it to DL. So this is a pattern in Dropbox. Okay. And I'll say sort order. Maybe I want to upload it before or after. So that is fine. I'll just give sort order 1. Okay. So this is uploaded. Now let's go and upload loading bar. I don't need main.css. So this is the main file, I think. So let's upload this one. Same thing, we'll copy the URL, we'll come here, add it, okay, and remove this DL, add dl.dropbox.com, sort order, let's say 2. Same thing for the list file. This is the design file. So I'll just copy the URL. Okay, I'll come back here and upload it in the dl.dropbox.com. Okay, and let's say order is 3. So now I uploaded the CSS files. Let's upload the line icon also. I think line icon we've already included. Okay, this is fine. So the CSS is uploaded. Similarly, let's upload the JavaScript libraries. So I'll go to my custom settings and I'll say custom JavaScript. Similarly, you can add JavaScript libraries. So I'll choose Bootstrap, we don't need, full calendar we don't need, we need main.js. So I'll say copy link and then add it here, remove this DL and add DL here. It is added. Okay, same movement, polyfill, all this we don't need. Okay, we can always add it later once we feel that okay there. Let's go back. So here let's first build the dashboard. Okay, so let's say I want my dashboard to look like this. So as of now this is the code, so I'll just remove everything. Okay, I don't want to use this and I'll use from the library. So I have opened the code, so I'll go to index.html, which is the file which is basically providing this dashboard. So I'll just copy this file here. And how do we do it? You go to the file, just copy everything which is inside the body. but you need to make sure that you don't include this script files, any CSS file. You just need to copy the HTML, that's all. So I'll copy this aside, overlay div, main wrapper, and that's all. Okay, so you need to copy the HTML which is inside the body so that you get a full page, the complete UI of the page. All these things you can ignore for now, okay, because this is just static data. Okay, and then we'll come back to wrap code. Here now you go and find a custom code component. So this is my custom code component. It is here. You remove the default code and paste the code which we have copied from the HTML file. Okay, and just hit embed code. So you can see it has actually built the dashboard which we wanted. Now let's preview this. It is not 100% as it is, but soon it will be. Okay, so since the dashboard is secure, so it is asking me to log in. So let's go and create a user, okay, so that we can log in. Let's say user. And the role I'll give is user. It's user@email.com. Save. So now let's log in, and I'll go to the dashboard. So now you see this is somewhat looking like this UI, but it is not 100%. So we will make it 100% like this. Okay. So as of now, you see there are some options which are not working, which is fine. Okay, and the page is here, the left menu is also here. So these icons are also not working. So maybe we are missing some JS file. So we'll see. I'll go to my custom JavaScript. I'll go to my Dropbox. So maybe we need this Bootstrap bundle file. I'll copy the link. Okay, and go back to my library and add this. Okay, now let's go and reload. Now these things are working. So these had dependency on that particular file. So this is how the basic design is there. Now let's add some functionality to this and make it work with dynamic data. Okay, maybe change the login page, sign up page, and build a full-fledged small application with this particular UI. And also you want to make this reusable. How do we make it reusable? How we use this? So let's understand all these things. Okay, so I will need the left menu in almost all the pages. So it's better to make it as a snippet. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go to my page and let's create a snippet and for sidebar. So what we'll do, we'll slice this as a snippet for sidebar, and we'll create one snippet for the header. Okay, let's see how we can do it. Let's add a snippet. I'll say sidebar, okay, which is a snippet, and create a snippet. So the snippet here. Now in this snippet, I only want sidebar. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll go to my HTML and copy the HTML only for sidebar. So the sidebar is coming from this aside. If you want to know how it is coming, so you can also go to either this theme or this HTML and just inspect element and see that which component is making this sidebar. So here you see this is navbar, this is aside. So this is basically creating the whole sidebar. Okay, and this is creating the main body. So we just need this aside and this overlay for the sidebar. This main body is for the central section. So either I can just go and copy code from here, okay, copy element, or I can copy from my HTML file which I have opened in my VS Code. So I've copied it from here, or let's copy from VS Code. Okay, so just copy it here. Same thing, we go to the snippet and drop a custom code component. I'll remove this. I'll add the code and then just embed it. Now the sidebar is here. Maybe you want to put your own logo, so you can use your own image. So as of now, we don't have any image. So let's search an image. Let's search some logo. Okay, so I'll use the tiny one. Okay, and upload the image. So image is added to the library. I'll just drag it and then I can just replace this image. I remove this one and add this image. Okay, so this is my logo. Maybe I'll just fix some dimension. Let's say with, I'll say 300 pixel. Okay, and height auto 100. Okay, so it is not. Okay, so I've added this logo. So all these options are coming here. Let's say I remove this. Okay, so you can if you want to add more icons, so you can just duplicate. So let's say you want to add more options, just duplicate. You want to change something, just change it to my project, whatever you want to do. The good thing is that if you select any, you can see that it has actually, Trapcode has actually recognized it. So whether it's a link, it's a button, so you will get all the attributes and all the properties which you can apply on that particular element. So this sidebar is ready. Now if we create any page, we can actually use this as a sidebar. So we have done this sidebar. Now let's have something here. Okay, so whenever we create a new page, so instead of copying the code, we should get something dummy, and then from there we just embed what we want. So what I'll do, since we will be doing a lot of changes in that section which is inside it, so I will not create a snippet, because the snippet, if you change it at one place, it will get reflected everywhere. So let's go and create a custom segment. So custom segment is something which just copies the code, and then you can change it locally for that particular page, so that those changes are not getting reflected anywhere else. So I'll go to my snippets again, and I'll say, let's say header template. Okay, and this time I'll create a custom segment and just create one. Okay, so what I'll do now, I want the code of the body, the central part. So this is main wrapper. So this is the actual body. Okay, so I'll just go and here drop the custom code again. Now I'll copy the body. Okay, so this is basically which is creating the center of the application. You see, the custom code is not here. Oh, sorry, the HTML is not here, the sidebar, but it has everything else. So now do a bit of cleanup, because we don't need all these sections everywhere. So I may be needing some tables, I may be needing these boxes, but I don't need a lot of things. So I'll just remove the things which we don't need, and then I'll just do a bit of cleanup. Okay, so I'll go to my layer manager. The very first thing I'll do, I'll just move this main outside of this custom code component, because that is not needed. Okay, so let's say I need this bar in all of my pages. Maybe I don't need all these drop downs, I need some of them. So I'll go to the layer manager. In the header, I can just select. So let's say I don't need this one. So this is the whole box. So this is first menu, second menu, third menu, fourth menu. Okay, so I'll just remove these three because I don't need. You can always include it later if you want. I just need one menu, which is this one. This is fine, and here also I don't need all these options, so I'll just remove some of them. So I can remove few li. You can always add them later if you want. Just go and duplicate, that's all. So let's say I need more, I can just go and duplicate. Okay, and then I can change the name as I want. So this is fine, this is good. Now coming here, I don't need this table for now. Okay, so I'll just remove this whole block. I don't need this. I'll just remove this block. Maybe I'll just increase the width. So I have some boxes and I have a table. Okay, everything else I don't need, so I'll just go and delete it. So this is basically, I'm just creating a template which I can reuse to build my pages. Okay, and footer I don't need, so I'll just remove it. So this is a very simple clean segment which I can go and drop and build page. Okay, so now let's build a collection. Let's build a CRUD functionality for some collection. Okay, so I'll go and create a collection. So let's build a product collection, have some fields, and build a CRUD functionality in this particular UI. So I'll say product. So product will have a name of the product which is of type text. This is fine. I'll say a large text which is description. then maybe a date picker, let's say manufacturing date, and a static option, let's say status, whether the product is available or not available. Okay, so I've added a simple collection product which has 4 fields. So we will build the CRUD functionality of this particular product. So list page, create page, edit, delete, and all. Okay, so I'll go back to my pages and let's add a page. Now I'll not use the dashboard because we already used. So let's build a product list page. Okay, product list. Okay, only logged in user, which is fine, and I'll create this. So now we have a sidebar and we have something for the center, and then we will reuse those two things to create all the pages of an application. So this is my product list page. So now what I'll do, I'll drop 2 components. One I'll draw for the sidebar, other I'll draw for the main part. Okay, so let's go. First of all, I drop a snippet, and in the snippet I'll say sidebar. So it will create a sidebar for me. So my sidebar is here. Wow. Next I'll drop a segment, custom segment. Okay, which will build the central part of my application, and I'll say a header template. Okay, so now you see it has actually built something. Okay, so now you can see there is some gap, right? So let's try to remove this gap. So I move this outside of a custom segment. Okay, so my layers are snippet and main. Okay, but if you see there is a class which is missing. So if I go here in the sidebar, there is a class called sidebar nav wrapper. So ideally it should come here, but since this is inside a reference snippet, that class is not getting applied. So what we'll do, we'll just apply the class on the parent div itself, so that it moves towards a bit top. So you can see it has actually shifted upward. Now this is how it is looking good. So now let's remove this junk data and put our old actual data. So if I preview this page, this is my product list page, looks like. Not too bad. These icons are not coming, we'll discuss those also. Okay, so not too bad. So now let's build this as a product list page. So I'll change the heading to, let's say, product list. These blocks, if I need, I can keep it here. If I don't need, I can just remove them. Okay, and this image is not coming, so let's change it to logo image. So this is fine. Span I'll just remove. Okay, so now let's replace this table with an actual product table. So before doing that, let's add some data in the product. So I'll quickly add a couple of products. Okay, so I've added some products. So we want to display the actual data here, right? So what we can do, we can remove this table. So let's go to the layer manager. Okay, so this is a table. So the table is coming here. So let's say we don't need this drop down. I'll just remove it. Top selling products I can keep as it is, but I don't need this table, right? So I go to the layer manager. I can see this table. Now let's see what all classes are applied in this table. It's table and top selling table. That's fine. So what we can do, we can go to the component and search for the data table, which is here. So I'll just replace this table with our data table. So I'll say get data from collection, get from product, and that's all, right? And I'll just remove this table. So now our data table is getting used. Let's say I don't need this search filter, or I can just keep it here for now. Okay, I don't need this thing. So if you see in our table, there is a class called striped. So which basically bring this odd an even color. Okay, so I don't need it, so I'll just remove this class. Okay, now let's reload this page. So instead of this static table, now it should show me the data which is coming from the actual Trapcode table. So it is showing actual table. So it is also showing border, so I don't need border, so I'll just remove the class border, and let's reload this page again. So now you can see it is actually showing all these things, right? Table. So let's say I don't need this search bar, I'll just remove it for now. I don't need this box, I'll remove it for now. So it is now showing me actual data from my collection in a table, which is now wrapped in a new UI. I can clean this up, so all these options are working. I can link this to sign out, link this to other pages, link these two pages, and build a full-fledged application. Right, now let's go and build a form. So let's see how the forms are there in this application. So here, if I go to pages, let's build a very simple form. So these are the forms. So this is how their form looks like. So let's say I want to build a form like this. Okay, like this. So what should I do? I'll just inspect element and just copy this form HTML. Okay, I don't need all. I can just copy this particular column which has the form, which is this card style. Okay, so either you can do it from here, or you can go to this code, look for that particular file and just copy it from there. So let's see where it is. Form element. So this is here. Okay, so this is card style. So this is the form. Okay, so let's build a form. So now I need a product create page. So I'll go back to my dashboard and I'll say add page, which is product create page. Now either I can build this page from scratch, or I can use my product list page to build this page and then do the changes which I need for product list page, product create page. Okay, so I'll create a page which is I'm cloning from this page, so that I don't have to do a lot of things from scratch. Okay, so this is my product create page. I don't need the table, so I'll just remove the table. Instead of table, now I need a form. I also don't need all these stat boxes here, so I'll just remove this. I can also go and check in the layer manager that what is the layer which is building all these. So we'll just remove this layer. Okay, now we'll build our form inside this. So either we can use a full page layout, we can divide into two sections, however we want it to be. Okay, so let's just make it like this. Okay, and maybe have some offset. So okay, so now what I'll do, I'll go to my component and drop a collection form. I'll say product. Okay, so it will generate a product form for me. I'll remove this thing, I don't need it. Okay, so this is my collection form, which is looking fine. Maybe I want to remove this extra padding, so I'll go to dimensions and remove this padding right of 30 pixel. I make it 0, 0, 0, 0, something like this. Okay, so now if I go and preview this page, then you can see that how it is looking up, and it is looking like the form which we have here. And obviously, so these are disabled, and hence they are looking different, but you get an idea how this looks like. Let's say you don't like this border which is coming, so let's go to the form class and remove this DC form bordered. Okay, so this will get removed, DC form default. Okay, so this will get removed, and let's see what classes they are applying to this component. So input label, this is nothing, MD5, this is fine, input style 1. Okay, so they are basically applying this input style 1 class on product items. Okay, so let's see how this looks like. So here they are applying input style 1, which is basically a bit background and all, right? But now if I reload the page, the form will be a bit different. and I'll change this to product list to, let's say, create product. And I reload this page. So it is actually applying the same behavior like I did here in the theme, you see. So we can apply the same on all the pages. Now I think this looks better. So there are a couple of issues which I am seeing. Now the buttons are different here. The buttons are different. So let's see how that works. So if I go to UI elements, if I go to buttons, so their buttons are something like this, some bright color. But here in Trapcode, the buttons are not like that. So let's see how this can be done. So either I inspect the button and see what all classes are getting applied, or I can just copy paste the code of button. So easier is to go and check the classes. So if I go to the button, it has 3 classes which are getting applied. It is button, primary, BTN hover, and main BTN. So now let's go and apply these classes. So I'll copy them one by one and apply. So BTN main, primary button, and button hover. So I'll go here. So this is how my button looks like now. So I'll remove the classes which we have applied from our old CSS, and let's apply the new classes. It's button main, other is primary button, and BTN hover. Okay, so I'll just type it here, primary button, and one is BTN hover. Same thing I'll do here. I'll remove these classes. Okay, let's say this is danger button. So now since these buttons are just aligned next to each other, so I'll just add some margin to the left, let's say a margin of 10 pixel. So it has moved a bit right. So now if I reload this page, you can see that these buttons are exactly the buttons which are there in the theme. Okay, so you see these buttons, and these are the buttons in the theme. Let's say you need button like this, just apply the classes which are there in the button. So the button has BTN, main button, primary button, and rounded full. So it has one more class which is rounded full. So let's go here and add this class, rounded full. Add the same class here also, rounded full. So now if you see, the classes is now rounded full. So now let's link this to an event and add the data to the collection. So I'll go to my events, I'll create a new event, say save product. Okay, what I'll do, I'll go to my collection, save data, in the product saved, error, and then after that I'll redirect to product list page, which is product list page. That's all. Okay, now let's go back here and bind this particular event. So I'll choose the collection form. So I need to go to the right layer, and here in the product I will bind the event which is save product, and that's all. Save it. So now it will create a product and take me to the list page. So let's add some product. This drop down is not coming, maybe some CSS is conflicting. Okay, here it is coming full, but let's go and apply the CSS, let's say with 100%. Okay, maybe that could be the reason. Okay, maybe some other reason. So let's say product test, some manufacturing date, some status which is available, and submit. So now it has taken me to a product list page, and the product E is added. If I want to change the order of these columns, so all these things are very easily possible now, because now Trapcode understands the complete CSS HTML of the new theme which you have added, and you can build your pages, button, tables, forms, everything like that particular external theme. If you want to build a profile like this, just copy paste the HTML, replace this from the actual dynamic text, and then it will show. Replace the image. If you want to build a file manager like this, you want to build a settings page like this, so it's very easy. Just copy paste this HTML and then just replace the form, the tables, and the dynamic element which Trapcode understands. Okay, so let's say I want to show the actual orders. I can just go and bind it to a filter that bring the value from filter and show the number of orders. Okay, so let's say these buttons were not actual, so let me add these also. So let's say it's main btn is the first class, then other was primary btn second, third was, let's say I want a smaller button, so I'll say btn sm, which is a class for a small button. Delete button I'll just remove for now, and let's change it to view. Okay, so this is how your page looks like. Let's say here I need a button to create a product, so I'll just drop a link. Okay, drop a link here and link it to product create page. Now let's make it like this. So I'll just remove all these classes which were applied and applied the class of the theme, main btn, which is the first class. Let's say let's make it green. Okay, so I'll say success btn, which is the class for green, and then I'll say btn hover. If you want to make it rounded, we can just go and apply the class for rounded. Okay, and change the text to create product. So if I go and reload my list page, it should have a button here which will take me to create product. I create product and it will come back here. So this is, and it has all the effects. So if you want to remove this, you want to keep this, so you can actually decide. So this is how it is coming here. Let's say we want to add these links here. Okay, so let's go back to the snippet and add the product list page and all these to the snippet so that it gets reflected everywhere. Okay, so I'll not touch all of them. So maybe auth, let's change it to product. Okay, and I'll say in the sign in, I take to product list page. Okay, and I'll change it to product list. Sign up, let's say, to the create product page, which is product create. This is fine. I'll just save it. Let's go and reload. Let's go and reload the page. So here you see it's product list, product create. So if I go to product create, it will take me to product create page. In here in the same menu, if I click product list, it will take me to the product list page. So basically the left menu is also functional. It is coming from a snippet. I can remove, rename all these icons, add more options. All these things are there. The menu is also collapsible. Okay, so we can see one issue that these icons are not coming, and these icons are coming from line icons. So let's go and add the line icon CDN. Sometime it happened that maybe it's internally calling some library which is not getting called properly. So I'll just go and add the line icon CDN. Okay, so I can use this, and let's go and add to the settings of custom CSS. So CDN is basically which brings the library of that particular buttons. So I'll go here. So maybe this particular is not working properly. Okay, so I'll just remove this, add CSS, and I'll say add CDN. So it will basically, instead of bringing from our Dropbox, it is directly bringing from the line icon CDN. Okay, so this is added. Let's reload. Now you can see the icons are actually here. So all these icons are here. This is here, this is here, this is here. All these buttons are clickable. So now this UI is 100% as the theme or the template which we have chosen, right? So let's do one last thing. Let's build the login page same as them. So let's see their login page. So if I go to auth, they have sign in page, which is their login page. Let's say I want a login page like this. Okay, and our current login page is not like this, so it is a bit different. So this is our login page. I want to make it to look something like this. So how do we do it? Okay, so I go back to the code again, and let's look for the code for login page, which is sign in. Okay, so this is sign in page. Same thing, I don't need sidebar, so I'll just ignore this. I need only the main wrapper which is inside it. Okay, so I can either copy paste this, or I can do certain thing. Let's copy paste this. Okay, so this is my login page. I'll go and drop a custom code component. So this is how it looks like. I don't need this, so I'll just remove this. Okay, let's see what all layers we can remove. So we just need section. So I'll just put section on the top, maybe out of the custom code. Everything else I just remove because I don't need all these things. So now I want this page to be my login page, and let's say this I want to use. Okay, and let's say login form. Now instead of this form, I want to use my form. Okay, so this is my form. I don't need this, so I'll just remove this. This is the form which we want to use. Okay, so this is the form container, okay, which we want to use, and this is the new UI which is here. They have their own form container. So what is the good approach is that you just replace their form container with your form container. Okay, so they have this form, you see they have this form. So I'll move our form here and remove their form. That's all what I do. We can also apply the classes which they are applying to these boxes. So let's say I'll go to a box. Let's see what, so it's input style 1. Okay, and let's see what they have on the form. So on the form they don't have any class. Row column, do they have any class? Nothing. So they have only class for this. So I'll just remove all these classes and apply the style 1, which is like this, not looking really good. Let's say form group. Let's see from here, form group call 12. Okay, so we need to add call 12. Okay, something like this. Here also I'll add this class called input style. This is fine, so I don't need this. I don't need this button. Let's say we want to use this button, so that is easy, we have already done it. So I'll just remove their form completely. Okay, and in our form I'll just remove the things which we don't need and change the classes for button and everything to the classes which they have. Okay, so the button, they have main btn. Main btn is the one class, then primary btn second class, and let's say btn hover, which is the third class. Okay, and I remove this login form, all these things, because we don't need. I remove this layer. So here now I have section as container, this is the box, this is my row, and all these things are here. If I need a button to be of 100% width, I can just go and in the dimension I say 100%, something like this. Now, so this was our old login page. Let's now reload. So this is my new login page, which is very similar to this one, obviously. So they may be adding some classes here which we can add, and it will look 100% like this. Button is there, Facebook login is there, everything is there. Don't have an account, create new. So don't have an account, create new. You can link all these things. Okay, and even if you don't like this one, let's say I don't like this particular section, so I can just go and remove. Okay, let's say after container, so I can remove the extra layers which are there. So in container there's a padding left, right, this is fine. Okay, margin top, this is row 0 0, container fluid. Okay, so this is how my login page looks like now. So let's try to log in. So we have created the user@email.com. Let's click login. So this is how your login form looks like now. So you can bind it to events, you can basically do more styling, and then basically make it exactly like the UI. After login, the person will land on product list page, they can create new products, they can view, they can have left menu and all those things. If you want to see how the changes looks like, so you can just publish the app and then see the changes on a published environment. So this is how easy, if you want to implement any sort of UI on Trapcode, just copy paste the HTML, CSS, and then rearrange the components. Trapcode automatically recognize all the HTML components which you put. Okay, just put the icons, the images, and all those things, and you can build an application which is 100% as per the UI template or the design which you want it to be. So no two Trapcode application looks similar if like you are using these templates. So I hope this is clear now. We'll keep building much more educational videos. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.